bugs and the twists and everything else going on. Twitch and YouTube, welcome to the show. Get the cameras lined up just a little bit more here so that everybody can see more of what is going on. And we'll go ahead and get Facebook added into the mix here. So stay tuned and we'll be ready to go in just a little bit. Yes, let's go ahead and start this and get this all taken care of. And as of right now, very quiet. Not seeing a problem for right now. Here's hoping it stays that way. Looking pretty quiet into the course of the next several days, but we do see a return to some of the rainfall out there, so we could be looking at some more problems coming our way in the semi-near future. So stay tuned for more, and we'll talk about that coming up in just a little bit. Let me get my control board here just in case it becomes absolutely necessary. Apologies for leaving you off screen. I had to make certain that I had controls ready to go here, and usually I do a pretty good job of forgetting the remote on here just in case we happen to need to flash back to a particular graphic of some sort. So we'll have more on that in just a little bit. If you're just joining us on Twitch and YouTube, we're bringing Facebook on board here, so we'll have that ready to go in just a little bit. And I think we're about ready to tackle this on a much quieter night than what we saw last night. So good news again on that. And again, we'll bring you more details on the forecast coming up here in just a few seconds. So stand by, and here we go. All right, welcome to the show. It is Tuesday evening, and things are exceptionally more quiet than what we saw last night at this time, to where we were doing wall-to-wall severe weather coverage for several hours straight. And as of tonight, it is much nicer across all of the News 12 viewing area. Very grateful for that. Also, again, want to say a big thank you to everybody here at News 12 for helping out. Mr. Nick Hill, one of our crack reporters out there, doing a great job coming in here and assisting. Our weather intern extraordinaire, Spencer Holt, came in to help out. Very nice to have that, to give the voice box a little bit of a break. And then also, again, looking for a good thank you to all of our production department personnel here at News 12. Everybody behind the scenes did a magnificent job, as per usual, for helping out for everything. Always like to make certain we give credit where credit is due. I can't do this job alone, and thanks to all the great people that we have here at News 12 behind the scenes, really nice to be able to have them on board for everything that goes on. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austen Onek. This is Weather Overtime. If you've never been here before, this is your opportunity to learn more about the forecast. If you have questions or comments of any type, go ahead and drop them into the forecast box, into the comment box below, and we'll let you know about that. We are live on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube, so if you would like to try the other social media streaming platforms that we work on, please do so. We're doing this concurrently so that everybody can see a little bit more about what's going on all at once. Again, it is quiet tonight. Again, here's hoping it stays that way. Overnight, we should be looking at some pleasant conditions for getting out and about, looking for the late night snack run to possibly be getting a few areas of fog developing. Will be cool out there. This is going to be one of the coolest nights that we will see in the next several days. So if you would like to open the windows for this evening, tonight is definitely going to be your night, because in the next few days we're going to be stair-stepping the temperatures upwards, and it is not going to feel anywhere close to this in about a week's time. But we'll talk more about that coming up here in just a little while. Thanks a lot to everybody for sending in their pictures. A beautiful view of some powerfully pink peach trees. Try saying that 5 times fast. Thank you very much to News 12 viewer Billy Cobbler from Ringgold for a beautiful view here for our HEP heating weather window picture of the day. If you've got pictures, we'd love to see them and to put them in the weather window to give everybody an idea as to what's going on wherever you happen to be. So email, social media in the comments section, or again, go to Weather Window headquarters at WDEF.com/photos. So again, we will be seeing the potential of some more areas of scattered showers and thunderstorms. That might be a nice picture. Anything as long as it is weather related. So we do see, again, anything in the way of not really major amounts of inclement weather coming through anytime soon, but we will be seeing the potential for some more good pictures coming up in the near future. So if you have anything in the way of pictures out there, please go ahead and send them in to us. For right now, everything is beautiful view from the secret reef cam at the News 12, from the Tennessee Aquarium through the News 12 computers. Great backdrop to have as a screensaver if you have those available there. So thanks very much for the Tennessee Aquarium for letting us borrow that. Also want to say congratulations to News 12 viewer Casey from Trenton. Your picture took the most amount of votes for the pick contest, the weather window from last week's. We weren't able to bring you the winner last night because of all the severe weather going on, so had to postpone that until tonight. So Mr. or Ms. Casey, whomever you are, thank you very much for your view of a storm cloud moving in from the Trenton area. New poll goes up at midnight. You can use the QR code to get there or go to WDEF.com/vote now for more. Beautiful evening, perfect night for baseball in the area. And again, not too much of anything in the way of any problems for right now. Next couple of nights toward about the end of the week might be some wandering showers or thunderstorms that could be a bit of a problem in there for now. Best possibility of what we're seeing in the way of rain is going to be several days out. Again, for right now, downtown is looking very good. 73 degrees at the airport. Humidity is up by just a little bit. Winds light out of the west-northwest at about 5 miles per hour. Not seeing a lot of problems with allergies, although mold spores are at moderate, and the grass pollen is also at moderate. Tree pollen and weed pollen down toward the low side of things, so good news on that. Information courtesy of the Chattanooga Allergy Clinic, and overall air quality has been much better in the last 24 hours thanks to all that rain sweeping out the atmosphere. Looking pretty good across much of the area with very low pollutants. Even the ozone gas is down quite a bit from what we've seen, and particle pollution got washed out pretty nicely across much of the region, so not seeing a big problem there. Seeing that latest cold front moving on through for right now. Trey Castile checking in. How's it going to be in Decatur, Alabama? Just about as well as it is here, with not too much in the way of cloud cover into and around Decatur, and likewise in Priceville, also not seeing too much of anything in the way of clouds. So just outside the News 12 viewing area. So thanks much for asking about that on our Facebook page there. We've got this front sticking around, which has helped to clear things out by just a little bit. Don't have the temperatures down around this area for now, but what we do have, you can see where the moisture-rich air is not and where it is. Showers and thunderstorms from the mid-Atlantic all the way back to the Red River, and more potential of rainfall in those locations than what we see from anywhere else. Now, looking back to the north and west of us, we do have even more possible areas of rainfall with this storm system coming in from the northwest. That'll be kind of giving us an oblique angle as that front passes through into the course of the next couple of days. So we do see more rainfall in the forecast, just not all that much. Now, for the next couple of days, the chances of rain are going to be taking, even though we've got some more rainfall coming up in the next few days, toward about the beginning portion of July. Climate Prediction Center from NOAA is showing a pretty much normal possibility for any precipitation coming on through. Better potential for rain all the way back over to around Chesapeake Bay, the mid-Atlantic. Less potential well back into the Midwest. So we do see that potential sticking around. And again, for the next couple of days, there will be some minimal possibilities of rainfall, but really that is going to be not really all that much to consider. It is going to be getting quite a lot hotter in the next several days after that. We'll talk more about that in the 7-day forecast coming up here in just a little bit. We are almost into the first month of hurricane season for the Atlantic. And as of right now, the very good news is for the entire Atlantic basin, the Caribbean, and the Gulf, we are not seeing anything in the way of development for right now. But it doesn't take much to create one storm, and it doesn't take much for this very quiet period to start off very active. It can turn on a dime, and that's one of the things we really need to pay attention to. But this side of the planet is decently quiet. Meanwhile, into the Pacific, we have a disturbance in orange that you can see with the cloud cover there as it begins just a little bit of a swirl. That is just a disturbance for right now. 40% chance of development there. We now have a more organized system, an area of investigation, or what is also known as an Invest 94 in the Eastern Pacific, now crawling its way a little farther to the northwest. Now, good news for right now, they're just very weak, hardly put together systems, but there is the potential that we may see these develop. There's also the potential that these things could just totally fall apart, and hopefully that happens, because if they stay on this line, that'll put them in a pretty good path for the Hawaiian Islands. But again, from here to here is at least probably 10 to 14 days at the bare minimum, so there really is not much of anything to stop them from making its way over here. Decently warm conditions into the Pacific at this time thanks to El Nino, so it is possible, very possible in fact, that we could see some further development from this. As of right now, the National Hurricane Center is giving us a pretty decent chance of development. So we may have two fairly well-organized systems coming up relatively soon, basically stacked right on top of each other. But we may see again the potential of more of this happening in the course of the next few days and weeks. Remember that Pacific hurricane season starts earlier than Atlantic hurricane season by about 2 weeks, thanks to the temperatures and the conditions. So right now, that's the best development that we have going on here. Whether or not it stays that way, well, that's a much different story out across the area. So if you're just joining us again and want to ask questions in the comments section on Twitch, YouTube, and we're also on Facebook, there's an event coming up this weekend that you may or may not have heard about before. I'm an amateur radio operator. I think it's a great hobby. It teaches you a lot about safety, electricity, communications law, being available when you are able to help during a disaster of some sort, or just using your technology to communicate around the block. It is really a great hobby to get involved in. No, it is not dying. It is still very much alive. It's adapting to new technologies, and it is a great opportunity to learn a lot more about what you can do to help when severe weather or other disasters strike. And the day of days for amateur radio is coming up this weekend, Saturday through Sunday. It's called Field Day. You may see a lot of tents and antennas and trailers in places where there may not be any time before. City Hall parking lot, local parks. It's the idea of operating in the field, which again is part of the name. That right there is a good opportunity to get out and practice, work out any kinks or any problems before working in the field is necessary. So again, this is a good practice run. What happens on this day is that individual operators and clubs try to contact as many other operators and clubs to gain the most points, and we are spreading the word, so hopefully this will be a good bit of information for some of the clubs out there if and where they get media attention. But if you'd like to get involved and you see an amateur radio group setting up someplace, there are numerous sites around the News 12 viewing area that will be holding field day activities. One around Soddy Daisy, one down by Ringgold, south of Dalton, up around Dayton, close to the Sweetwater area. So all told, there's a give or take about 10 area groups that are on the list for field day. If you'd like to know more, all you have to do is just go to the website for amateur radio in the United States, the Amateur Radio Relay League, arl.org/field-day, and that'll get you to the site to find out, again, more about what's going on out there. I'll be at the Cleveland Amateur Radio Club talking about severe weather and safety, and that'll be happening at noon on Saturday. So thanks to the Cleveland Amateur Radio Club at carc.cc. If you'd like to know more, they'll be holding a get-to-know amateur radio session, so please consider stopping by for that. And again, if you'd like to know more, arl.org for more details on that. Fading sunset light and the stars and planets coming out. It's a beautiful evening out there. A little bit of a breeze on Lake Chickamauga, but not seeing too many vessels out there for tonight. Temperatures, here we go on the upswing. Normal for this time of the year is give or take about 90 degrees. So it is a very good possibility that we will be seeing more heat in the next several days. Here, below normal for the next couple of days, at normal on Friday, above normal after that, into the weekend and into next week. So we do see some much warmer temperatures coming on through, especially through the weekend and afterwards. So if you have plans for outdoors, you're going to have to duck and dive the possibility of a few raindrops and thunderstorms from Thursday evening through Sunday evening, and then the potential again of some much hotter weather by this time coming up next week. So if you have plans for outdoors, again, that is going to be your best bet to watch out for. Now, no severe weather markers on here, no flash flooding markers on here. The chances of rain going to be more minimal than really anything else going on. So that hopefully will help to keep the danger at bay. But with all the rain we've had lately, it's not going to take much for almost any rain. Too much rain at the wrong amount in the right place is going to do a good job of raising the flash flooding threat. So please be aware of that. And of course, if there's any severe weather coming on through, we will be watching that with a lot of interest. So stay tuned for more with News 12 there. Want to remind everybody that this is also National Lightning Safety Awareness Week. A lot more activity outdoors, a lot of people getting out and about, boating, camping, hiking, fishing, whatever you've got going on. So now is the time to make certain you know more about how to keep yourself safe. There are topics throughout the entire week, started on Sunday, goes through this next Saturday, and Tuesday's topic is all about lightning safety outdoors, about what it takes to make certain you're paying attention to what's going on with storms and lightning, how to make certain you can detect lightning out there. That is a very good idea, especially if you are in charge of a group outdoors, whether it's sporting events or camping or fishing or anything like that. Somebody in the group should be designated to pay attention to the weather. In sporting events like outdoor stuff like baseball, football, anything like that, race car driving, anything, that is something that really needs to be paid attention to, because if you have 50, 100,000 people, you've got to figure out that if a storm is moving into an area where that event is being held, you have to get 50 to 100,000 people to safety immediately. And if they can't get everybody into safety, there has to be enough time allowed to get them to that safe place. So that is an absolutely monumentally important thing to make certain you're paying attention to. Now, the odds of getting struck by lightning, they are relatively low. How low? We'll take a look at that in our poll coming up tomorrow. It is a lot less likely that you will win the jackpot lottery. The odds for that are much more incredibly huge than getting struck by lightning in your lifetime in the United States. So something to think about there. And of course, we'll keep you updated on the topics of lightning all the way through the course of the next several days. So stay tuned for that. Now, looking back to last night, hoping very much that nobody got any damage. We know that several people did get a lot of damage out there. Hopefully everybody stayed safe. Nobody I know as a meteorologist or a storm chaser would knowingly, deliberately root for the storms to cause more damage. That's a very mistaken attitude, in my not so humble opinion. And with the way things are going out there, the soil is very saturated. So if there are any trees out there that are very large, the roots in those wet areas of soil, that big tree can act like a sail, and those roots just come toppling out of the ground. And we saw a lot of that happening in the last several days. Now, here's where you come in on this. If you've got any damage, or if you see any damage around a particular location, please take that information. You can be a citizen scientist. You don't have to have a PhD to participate in a lot of scientific studies, and this is one of the biggest weather studies out there. The information that you provide as a resident of a particular area, that information can help meteorologists, climatologists, research personnel determine what went on when a storm moved through a particular area. Ground truth is very important. Satellites are great, radar is great. It's an amazing opportunity to be able to use those tools, but what happens as a storm goes through on the ground, that can help determine why and how a radar beam didn't pick up the information of a really intense part of the thunderstorm, and it can also, again, show what happened due to a downburst or lightning strikes or and. So that, again, is where you can help out. Find your National Weather Service website by going to weather.gov. Click on your area of the country. Find out which county you are in as a resident or doing business in or stuff like that. And find which National Weather Service covers your area. We're borrowing the main page from Huntsville, which covers part of the News 12 viewing area in northeast Alabama. On the main menu, you should be able to click through to one of the drop-down menus to where you will find something that is titled like this: Submit a Storm Report. And when you do that, you can send in pictures, you can show, you can talk to the National Weather Service about what the wind speeds were you estimated, hail size, widespread wind damage estimates, all sorts of things like that. That information that you turn in can really help meteorologists make better forecasts and improve the accuracy of our radars. It really does help on there, but they can't do anything to help things out without your data coming in. So if you have that data, please make sure that you're able to send that in, and this is one of the best ways to do it, going to their website to find out more details. Again, start off at weather.gov, and that will really help you make certain that you can get the data through on that all the way through. So thank you to those who have been sending in those reports. That does come in exceptionally handy there. That should do it for tonight. We've only been on for a better part of 20 minutes. As of right now, there really is not that much happening across the area. Again, much quieter now than what it was about 24 hours ago. So that is really helping to calm things down by just a little bit. If you got questions, concerns, ideas, blue bar beneath over here, aonek at WDEF.com. If you'd like to send in by email questions, concerns, complaints, if you absolutely must. Again, go to our social media pages. You can catch more from my forecast details there as well. And of course, we'll be live on all of our streaming platforms as much as we possibly can to make certain we get you answers to your questions if you do have them. And thanks to everybody for tuning in on that. And once again, a very heartfelt thanks to everybody here at News 12 for doing the spectacular job that everybody does here, pitching in to help when it comes to severe weather coverage. I can't do this job by myself, so it really does help to have everybody pitching in, and I'm very grateful for everybody who has been doing just that to help out when possible here. Chip Chapman will have your forecast bright and early starting Wednesday morning at 5 a.m., so stay tuned for that, and I'll be back tomorrow afternoon to keep you updated on what is going on across the area. So thank you very much for tuning in. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austen Onek, live and direct from downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee, from the News 12 studios on Broad Street. Thanks for joining us, and again, we'll talk more tonight at 11, and again coming up on